Hey there, my name is Eric. If you're new here, I'm an aspiring meteorologist working my way towards my atmospheric science degree, and today is October 24th, 2025, and I'm going to dive in with you on some severe weather we have inbound for parts of the United States over the next couple of days. We've got a 3-day severe weather pattern unfolding across Texas and the Deep South. We already have a slight risk here throughout from west to central, even parts of southeast Texas. As the days have gone by, I was paying attention to mostly a trough that was going to break out in the northeast that I thought would bring some marginal weather, as well as cooler weather to much of the eastern United States, which is still expected to. But slowly, models began to agree on a trough moving from the west that would eventually merge with the troughing going on up here, which is actively unfolding. The shortwave trough is currently moving through the southern plains in Texas, and on Halloween we are expecting cooler weather to dominate much of the east, and even going into a little bit into Texas we'll see some slightly below average temperatures, which will be nice. So overall look, this event with this trough currently moving east is going to be affecting the plains going into the 26th, and that trough is going to move east, and then we will get cooler temperatures around Halloween with that Halloween trough. This is the outlook for today going into Saturday, and then as we look ahead for Saturday into Sunday, this is the highlighted region for then. This includes a 5% risk of tornadoes off in central and west Texas for today, and then moving into southeast Texas and especially areas east of Beaumont going into Louisiana, a 5% potentially expected to raise to 10% non-hatched risk for tornadoes. We're going to dive into the details of why this is happening. That southern stream's trough is digging into the southwest and moving east. The clashing of cooler air up here and Gulf moisture is allowing for the development of storms in this region, and the shortwave trough allows for lift to occur, which extrapolates that effect. You can get a clearer picture of where exactly that trough is by looking at the upper height anomalies. You can see this is today, and as we move into Saturday, that's going to move over Texas and then towards the east on the 27th, going through Monday. This is the current radar as of 3:42 p.m. on the 24th. Going into tonight, this is going to move further east, and it's going to affect central Texas as well as Oklahoma. I'm expecting 1 to 2 probably brief tornadoes somewhere within these regions tonight. So initially these storms are going to move east, and then behind the MCS in central Texas tomorrow, more thunderstorms will pop up around areas like Austin, and then those will move east towards Houston going into tomorrow evening. Once that squall makes it close to the coast, it's going to clash with moisture, and that uplift and the orientation of the trough is going to allow for the potential for tornadoes. When it comes to southeast Texas going into Louisiana tomorrow evening into the night, I'm expecting probably 2 or more brief tornadoes in that region, so I really want people here to keep an eye out. That would also include myself because I live in Houston Metropolitan. This is something that happens later in the year, usually, even though we are outside of tornado season. This can particularly pick up a little bit October and December as patterns change. As this mid-level trough moves further across the Gulf coastal plains, moisture advection will continue, while the threat for tornadoes will mostly be pretty low. You cannot rule out the possibility for maybe 1 to occur. So everyone pretty much on the Gulf Coast should be wary of this, the events this weekend with this. In addition to the potential for tornadoes, there is also just a general wind and hail threat, and also flooding rain is a concern, especially further east. Looking at the expected rainfall totals, you can see some areas are expected to receive up to isolated 4 inches of rain, and as you move into East Texas and Louisiana, some areas are expecting 2 to 3 inches. This extends all the way up into Oklahoma as well, and this is going to be occurring within just a 24-hour time frame, so that will be concerning. So keep an eye out for flash flooding. This threat moves further east along with that trough, as you can see. We still have areas expected up to potentially 2.5 to 3 inches. We're gonna get a detailed look here with the HER model and see what exactly that expected precipitation is going to look like. So this is that squall line that will move through. This is 12 hours from now, so about 4 a.m. on the 25th. That's going to move further east, and this is early morning, and then it's going to make its way over Houston as the sun comes up. And that squall line right there is pretty concerning because of the way it's oriented and because of what it is working with. That's what has the potential for a lot of local, isolated, pretty severe thunderstorms, and like I said, even tornadoes along the Gulf coastal plains. And like I said, going from late tomorrow into tomorrow night, I am expecting 2 or more brief tornadoes within this region as this passes through, so keep an eye on that. It wouldn't be surprising if we generally have multiple tornado warnings throughout the day, especially tomorrow afternoon into the evening and into night, popping up all around Houston and the southeast Texas area. As I said, this system will weaken as it moves further east over the Gulf Plains, further into Louisiana and Mississippi and the other states. What follows this is going to set up the rest of what we can expect for October, as well as conditions in the tropics, which I will not go into too much detail in this video as I will make a dedicated video on it. But this has a great influence on what exactly Hurricane Melissa down in the Caribbean is going to do. Essentially, this trough, as it moves in here locally, it's going to break an escape point for Melissa. And just before Halloween, that's what's going to allow it to move out to sea past Cuba. And then going into Halloween, we're going to get that Halloween trough, as I've been dubbing it. If you look up in the northeastern United States into Canada there, you can see there is some pretty deep troughing occurring. And it seems like the polar vortex weakens and detaches from that trough, and that digs into the east right on Halloween, actually just before Halloween and going into Halloween. And this is going to allow for cooler temperatures in the east and even a little bit into the central United States. And as time has gone on, we have been looking at prospects for cooler weather, as we've seen pretty above average weather for much of the east, so we'll be looking forward to this. And it will be nice because we can enjoy Halloween. It'll be cooler, people going out, doing spooky things. It'll be kind of festive and it'll feel nice. Get your EMF readers out. Get your thermometers out. We're going ghost hunting. We're gonna be seeing cold temperatures, ghosts. It's gonna be maybe some rainy weather. It's gonna be great. Behind the event that we're currently experiencing, there will be another round of decent bit of precipitation. So the southeast, it will probably be actually rainy on Halloween, and a potential nor'easter is actually going to develop. Actually, I think the GFS doesn't think that, but the Euromodel is hinting at that happening. To give you a pretty solid visualization of what you can expect from the temperature, we're going to look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, and you see it's going to be pretty chilly, like unusually chilly in the southeast. Florida is actually going to be seeing temperatures in the 40s around the Big Bend and the peninsula, which is very, very unusual and record-breaking. This extends out a little bit into the plains, so for me here in the those of us in southeast Texas can expect actually some relatively nicer weather throughout this period, and it's going to be pretty near normal in the plains here. And then in the west, it's going to be above average, and this is actually contrasting with what we've been seeing lately, which is evident of the shift to La Nina that we're seeing, because it's actually been cooler in the west usually while it's been warmer in the east. So this is that cooler weather that we've been looking for, and we're finally going to be seeing it, and it's right in time for Halloween, and I'm just really excited for it. And it seems like it is actually going to happen. It's not just prospective. We will likely be seeing, at least in most areas, a decent cool down. You pretty much consider us lucky even to just have this, because overall temperatures are expected for this fall to be above average for most parts of the eastern United States because of climate conditions right now. To further visualize that, I'll show you the temperature anomaly. You can see that trough moving in, and there's just pretty much that big deluge of cold air that just happily shoves its way into the southeast, and I mean, it's just going to be nice. It's going to be pleasant. Besides the severe weather, we're gonna have some silver lining to that. So in conclusion, I'll loop back with everything that we're dealing with. Severe weather tonight through Saturday in Texas, and that will move further east. The system will weaken and we'll see less severe weather, but still keep an eye out for possibly a tornado and some wind damage and flooding rain. Make sure you have a way to receive warnings, especially overnight. It's worth being wary of this. Keep your phone on, keep your notifications on for your weather apps. For those of us in Southeast Texas and Louisiana, I know we don't really have basements because of the water table, but here, when it comes to these events that can include the threat of tornadoes, just have a plan, know where you're going to go, the most closed off and interior part of your house if you get a tornado warning. And like I said, keep your notifications on for your phone so that you don't wake up in the middle of a tornado not prepared. Alongside this, we also do have stormier weather inbound for the Pacific Northwest, as we have a river, an atmospheric river that is set to move in. Then we have the cooler, slightly stormier weather in the east for Halloween, and then the looming Hurricane Melissa that will make its way out to sea after it stalls around Jamaica. It's very unlikely that it poses a threat to the United States, but I think the extreme northeast needs to keep an eye on that, as that lies in the greater uncertainty of that forecast right now. But I will cover the tropics more in the next video, which I might make today or tomorrow. With that, I hope you found this video useful, and remember to stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one. And remember, you are the storm.